Well, one of the most exciting things we've been doing this year with the WTM Travel Perspective sessions is launch something called WTM Fresh, which for the first time is trying to help get some of these startups on the road. And so what we've done is worked with an esteemed judging panel here to put together an elevator pitch session. Now, if you're a startup, I'm sure you'll be familiar with the concept of elevator pitches. If not, it's the idea that you get just the length of time that you can stand in an elevator with somebody who might have some money or the ability to make your startup reality. You've got that 5 minutes to tell them your business idea, and hopefully by the end of the lift journey you'll have convinced them to invest in your company. So that's what we're going to do today. We've got 5 companies who are going to do an elevator pitch for you, all very, very exciting. Now, I just wanted to introduce the panel. Timothy you've seen before, who was on the previous panel, but I just want to introduce the others as well. Starting from this end, we have Joachim Everstein, who's Innovations Manager at Sabre Travel Network, our sponsors for the WTM Travel Perspective sessions. Works a lot with startups who are working with Sabre, who's going to give you a talk about that in a short while. Next to him we have Lee Hayhurst, who's Head of News at the industry publication Travolution, and also with Travel Weekly as well. So he has lots of experience of hearing about startups and knowing what makes the grade. Sitting next to Lee, we have Sally Broom, who very kindly stepped in when one of our previous judges was unable to make it for family reasons, but she's a very excellent addition to the panel, mostly because she's founder and CEO of the holiday experience service TripBod, and so has lots of experience of startups. Timothy we've already introduced, Voltpad, and Paul Smith at the far end, not the clothes designer, as I'm sure he hears a million times. He is from the British Startup Accelerator Ignite 100, and sits through lots of pitches from startups all the time, so knows what to look for. Now, right next to me here, I just want to show you this just to prove something. It's a big check, and just to prove that it doesn't have anybody's name on it at the moment. We haven't decided in advance who wins this. We did start off with a long list of about 12 companies. And we've spent the last few weeks going through all of those different startups and judging them on their, where they've got to so far, their business ideas, whether it's commercial or not. So we've already done lots of groundwork for this, but we're going to now listen to their 5-minute pitches and ask them a few searching questions. But before that, I'd like to introduce Joachim, who's just going to give you a talk about why Sabre is involved with this. Joachim.
Thank you very much, Mark. Yes, my name is Joachim Everstein, and I work as the Innovation Manager for Sabre EMA. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but I just want to talk a little bit about innovation and how I look at innovation. Okay, so this session today is all about innovation, and I think Morse code is a very good example of an innovation that really made a big difference. Even today, Morse code is practiced by the military because this is the only way of communication that cannot be jammed out, simply because of the fact that even in distorted noise you can separate long from short. So what do we do in Sabre and how do we apply innovation? You might have heard of big data and next generation shopping, and I would just like to mention one of these examples here on the screen where we're looking at possible travel options from New York to London. And if we go into the Sabre host and look at 1 year of travel options, we start out with about 2 trillion different options. If we select a specific day, this comes down to about 5 billion options. And out of these options, 3 billion options actually have availability. Then we apply some more filters, and eventually we'll end up with about 6 million travel options that are of value to this search. And by continuously creating new and innovative shopping capabilities in Sabre, we make sure that the last 500 options that is returned back to the customer is options that they hopefully can make one option that suits them perfectly from. And I'm not, as I said before, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but we at Sabre are really, really proud to be able to sponsor this event, WTM Fresh 2013, where we actually give 5 startup companies the chance of winning this check worth £5,000. Thank you very much.
Great. I'll just tell you quickly how it's going to work. We've got the 5 people who are going to pitch to us. We're going to do it in alphabetical order. They have 5 minutes. I'm going to be quite strict on that. So if they're still through their presentation, I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut them off. And then after they've done their presentation, the judges are going to do some quick questions about their pitch. After all of the 5 presentations, we're going to go off to deliberate for a few minutes, but so you don't get bored, we're going to showcase another startup that you might be interested in called Antulio, and also we're going to do an audience vote as well. So there's no prize for that, but we just thought we'd like to see what you think about it as well. So without any more ado, I'd just like to introduce Jamie Rose, who's the co-founder of the Escape List, the UK's first and only affordable luxury hotel website, they say.
Hi, I'm Jamie, as Mark introduced me. I'm one of the co-founders of the Escape List. We launched the Escape List in January 2013. And most startups get the advice that you either need to be filling a gap in the market or you need to take something someone else is doing and do it better. Well, we're trying to do both. We were fed up on a personal level of trying to find places to stay in the UK for a staycation with friends, boyfriends, husbands, but feeling like we needed to spend an absolute fortune to find places of the right quality. We knew places existed that offered high quality, luxury, indulgent accommodation but without charging the earth, but we couldn't find them easily online. So we built up our own personal collection. Initially, this was just us recommending to friends who wanted to go away where to stay, until we realized that there was a gap in the market for a website that did this. So we built the Escape List, an affordable luxury collection of UK hotels. So why did we think we should set it up, transition from being a kind of friend recommendation service to being a business? Well, research has shown that the 2 most important factors when British travellers are choosing where to stay are personal recommendation and price. But there was yet to be a website which combined the 2, so you could trust the places that you were staying and they were the right price point for you. And in their quest to satisfy the desires of meeting these 2 desires, they would have to spend hours searching online across multiple sites. Now, we all know there are thousands of existing hotel websites out there, but they tend to fall into one of 2 categories. You have mass market aggregators that have a large selection of hotels at all price points, but they don't really instill assurance of trust or quality in the consumer. Or you have high-end curator sites which have fantastic hotels, but the majority of which are too expensive for your average weekender, which creates a problem for the consumers who can't reliably find the hotels they want to stay in at the right price, and a problem for the hotels who can't be found. We tried to solve both of the problems in one go. For consumers, we have a hand-picked, unique selection of affordable luxury UK hotels, with our price promise that every hotel has to have at least one room available for under £150 per room per night. And we present it all on an easy-to-use site to save them time. For hotels, we offer them a targeted way of accessing their ideal database. We offer a full marketing service that's personal and goes beyond just the website, helping them out on social media, which is extremely important for the type of businesses we work with, which are very small-scale pubs and hotels which don't have the staffing capacity to manage this for themselves. And we do it all at a realistic listing fee for them, which we actually decided on in consultation with our service providers. All very well, but are we going to become a viable business? Which obviously it's nice to have an idea, but we've got to be able to make some money. Well, there's plenty of boring statistics which seem to say so. There's over 100 million domestic overnight trips made every year in the UK. 16 billion pounds is spent on these trips, so about £160 average per trip. And 71% of travel planning is done online across at least 3 different websites. What all of this essentially means when you strip it back is that despite credit crunching, spending cutbacks, people still see holidays as a necessity, but they're travelling more savvily, seeking better value for money and quality assurance, which is where we come in. With the Escape List, we've tried to create an easy-to-use, simple-to-navigate, image-heavy site. So that's our homepage and our regional page. We've had quick links to hotels' own websites and TripAdvisor. We know that you don't just want our word that the hotel is high quality, you want outside assurance. So we've got the TripAdvisor links and direct links to the hotel website in multiple places on site. And we learnt that our consumers don't actually want to book through a middleman, they like to book direct. So we have very easy to find direct links to the hotels for booking your rooms. We make our money, because obviously we need to operate as a business, by charging an annual listing fee and offering additional extras such as featured slots in our newsletters. Therefore, the more hotels we list, the more money we make. Well, we launched in January 2013, so we've got a nice backlog of statistics to show how we've been working so far. We launched with an initial range of 40 hotels, and we currently have 85, with 300 more on our kind of immediate hit list. Our database has grown from its humble starting point of just 400 to almost 3,500 with absolutely zero expenditure. We've just pursued strategic marketing partnerships with like-minded brands, so running competitions with them and accessing really target demographics. Our website's also received over 14,000 visits in this time, with an average time spent on site of over 3 minutes with 7 pages viewed per visit, showing high levels of user engagement, which continues on Facebook, where we already have a following of 2,500. And without employing a PR agency or spending a fortune, we've had great press coverage, for example, the Guardian website, Sunday Mirror Travel, and Sunday Times Style magazine. And our plans for what to do next? First of all, national market saturation, listing all suitable UK properties, then seeking some more funding to pursue an aggressive pay-per-click and advertising campaign, then European expansion, and then hopefully global. So, that's us in a nutshell. 2 entrepreneurs merging my background in travel reviewing and marketing and my business partner's online marketing experience to create a dynamic, inspiring travel research site, satisfying the growing demand for affordable luxury. So what are you waiting for? Get away from it all. And if you're interested, enter our November competition to win a 2-night stay at Stoke Place in Buckinghamshire.
Thank you for that, Jamie, and thank you for keeping to the time as well, and also for trying to sway the audience with this competition. Can I just turn to the judging panel now and ask if they have any short questions for Jamie on her business model or idea?
Yes, hello. Thanks for a really great presentation. I only have one question, and that is really how do you rate the hotel as luxury?
We use a variety of sources. So for our initial launch range of hotels, it was very much personal recommendations. So places we've either been to ourselves or friends or family had been to. We wanted to get a good covering of B&Bs, inns, hotels, all types of accommodation, but very much personal recommendation. Our next selection of hotels were kind of asking friends of friends for advice. And as we get larger, we know we need outside quality control, so that's where visits to all the hotels comes in. We check all review sites. So we don't try and assume that we have superior taste to any other website. If someone else has reviewed it, we look at what they say. So we kind of assemble any feedback that's already exists as well as our own feedback. And if we get negative comments from users on a hotel, we'll remove the hotel from the site.
You said your search is very much image-led, so what happens if there aren't images available for a certain property? Do you go in and take those yourself, or?
It's not a point we've got to yet, but we're very aware that if a hotel doesn't have high enough quality photos itself, we do have a photographer we can work with to send to take higher resolution photos, because you will find there's a couple of hotels and sites where we've got collages of their photos, which is our initial money-saving way around the fact that their photos aren't high enough quality.
Great. Well, also congratulations. A really good pitch, and I really have enjoyed exploring your website. It's fantastic UX and, like you say, great images. I had a question about the distribution of your products. It's great to see that you've looked at what the opportunity is for the business overall. Is there enough opportunity? My expectation would be that your product would be distributed more heavily outside of city areas, because that's going to bring the price down to your limit, right? Is that the case, and if so, how are you going to compensate for that within making this financially workable?
In terms of the hotels or in terms of user acquisition, which...
Well, so you were basically saying about the number of room nights
Yeah.
Per year in the UK. My guess is a lot of those in the city are in cities,
Yeah.
which is where £150 per night room is a lot harder to find
Yeah.
in your kind of place. Is that the case? And if so, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
If not, not a problem, I guess.
We've got a twofold strategy for this, one of which is that we do have city coverage, so we have Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, London, for example, at the moment, where we have a smaller range of properties, but we have unearthed some fantastic places which are under £150 a night. So whilst we can't offer you a wide selection, it's very hard to find an affordable place to stay in London. I've personally stayed in some shocking places for about £200. So yes, we maybe only have 5 places, but if you go and stay in one of our places, we can guarantee you that you will have indulgent luxury and not spend a fortune. Then in terms of the countryside retreats, where it's easier to get affordable places to stay, but there's less user demand, we want to get comprehensive national coverage, but we will focus heavily on the areas where we can already see with our current user base certain regions are more popular. So for example, Cotswolds is our top rural destination. We currently have 7 Cotswolds properties, but we've got about 20 more lined up to add, because it's such a popular place that we will focus our rural hotel listings on the most popular areas.
So my question is very straightforward. You say you're making money out of listing fees, right? How are you going to show performance on those lists that the people who are coming back next year are going to re-sign with you? Particularly if you've got situations where, okay, well, I'm the 3rd or 4th largest guy in the pool, and the top guy gets all the sales. So how do you show your metrics of performance that will make me want to come back if I'm a hotel?
It's been a learning curve for us, because obviously we don't offer direct booking, so it's very hard to have the provable, we've driven this many people to book through you. So we are very upfront with our hotels to start with. So we actually have a very personal business at the moment. We meet all of our hoteliers face to face. We explain our business model. They get our concept and they're very on board. So we're on first name terms, which everyone is these days, but in terms of what it means. So we let them know how our website works before we approach them. So when it comes to renewing, we present them with statistics such as how many page views their listing has had on site, how long users have spent on their site, and how many people have clicked through to their website. So all we can really do is offer them those sort of metrics. At the moment, we have a flat listing fee across all different properties. If in future we realise that there was a very kind of hierarchical system operating on the site, that's where we can actually be more flexible in the type of listing packages that we offer.
Hello.
Hi.
Question about scaling. By the numbers you're putting up in terms of listings, you're doing all of this process manually.
Yeah.
How do you go faster at that? How do you scale faster if that's manual, and how much effort are you having to put into that? And when it comes to Europe, what do you see in terms of headcount in order to really crack this? Because the numbers you're talking about, you probably don't have coverage everywhere where people have a lot of options.
Yeah.
So do you have an issue there with scaling this out in terms of content you can show to customers?
We don't at the moment while we're focusing on the UK. There's just the 2 of us, myself and my business partner. And with that, we've got our own press coverage without employing a PR agency. Our database is growing exponentially to doing all our in-house marketing, and we're doing all our in-house sales, and we're doing all the in-house content. Obviously, we only have 2 hands and 1 brain each, so we're going to get to capacity. But at that point, that's when we've already reached out. We've had various people approach us within countries around Europe saying they would like us to expand to their country. So that's where we will actually seek people to kind of join our company, but not necessarily based in the UK. So we will have employees scattered around Europe who will work on our behalf. So we'll handle certain things centrally and outsource the sales and content side of the business. Like I said, we've had about 5 or 6 requests for people wanting to work with us already. So we're building up that contact list when we get to the point where we have no choice but to do that, because the downfall of many startups is expanding before you need to. So we're going to make sure we're kind of going grey prematurely before we get to that point.
All right, thank you, Jamie, for that. A round of applause. Next up, it's another startup with the word handpicked in their description. They call themselves a where-to-go-when search engine. And we have founder Nena Chiletsos, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, of LuxTripper to give you her pitch. Nena.
Hello everyone, I'm Nena Chiletsos. I'm the CEO founder for luxtripper.co.uk. On the screen there, I'm just put up what I'm going to be covering in the next 5 minutes. LuxTripper is something that I'm very passionate about. I actually probably could speak about it for about 5 hours, but fortunately for you, all of you, I've only got 5 minutes, so I won't put you to sleep. LuxTripper really started from my journey when about 3 years ago I started working in the travel industry, and I started speaking to a lot of the customers and getting really regular feedback, which was very consistent when they were looking for holidays online. And one of the things that they were saying to us was that they're not sure about where to go when. There's so much information online, but I don't know where to go when. There was also searching for holidays is very difficult. It's not fun anymore. Also, when they looked at the holiday and they got through to actually the pricing, people were being asked to call up call centres for the right price rather than being able to book end to end. It's taken me ages to book. Travel search capability is extremely limited to putting in your date and your destination of your journey. So the key thing for this was really people weren't enjoying looking for their holidays. And when we delved a little bit further into, how people were searching, it really was a needle in a haystack approach. I'm sure many of you, when you've looked for holidays, you've done the same thing, looked at a lot of these sites that we've got up on the screen, TripAdvisor being the big one, then going to the weather websites, is the weather right for the time that you want to go, hotel, looking at the hotel site, and when you've actually got to pick in the hotel and the destination that you wanted to travel to, how many of you have actually found that either the room wasn't available, or the price wasn't right, or there was something not right with the hotel? I mean, I've been in that situation many times, and I've actually ended up having arguments with my husband, and we've like, that's it, we're not travelling, we're not going, and it's really been very stressful, only to have to start the whole journey all over again. And when we looked at the amount of time it was taking people to look for their holidays, it's taken some people up to 96 hours, 4 days in total, when you go round and round the journey over and again. And it really is not enjoyable. It's a very stressful experience looking for your hotel or your holiday. It's a needle in a haystack. What LuxTripper, its vision is, we really want to put the fun back into booking a holiday. Our mission is that we want to put the power of our research into our customers' hands so that they can effortlessly plan and book their perfect trip. We've done all the research. We've looked at TripAdvisor. That's one of the most influential areas when we've asked people. They really are influenced by the reviews on TripAdvisor. We've looked at all the reviews. We've looked at hotels and holidays all over the world, 4 and 5 star. We've handpicked all-inclusive, city, beach, family, and spa. We've even listened to customers who said they want the inspirational trips, so what we've added are the dream trips. We're also looking at adding more and more categories like itineraries, and this is something that we're going to develop the company as we grow. Our 6 key strategic areas are that we want to really focus on leading innovative technology. We want to make search and navigation easy, so that's our where to go when platform. Ethical partnership with suppliers who are very key. We sell online. We're not just a research website. We actually sell hotels and holidays and flights as well. We want to provide real-time pricing for our customers. We have more than 35,000 hand-picked hotels and holidays around the world. We're adding to that daily. And we want to also focus on affordable luxury. So our roadmap from now to next year is that we are expanding our team. We are really working on content, researching, making sure that our database is up to date, up to the minute. We have expanded globally. I've now set up this week a team offshore. That's because we needed to keep our costs down, but I needed to have the people to really make this business a success. I'm really working on developing solid foundations and relationships with our vendors and providers and suppliers. We're focusing on our branding. We're doing all of our own branding in-house. And we're also focusing on technology, and we've got a lot more innovation coming sort of soon that we're looking to improve our website. So really that finishes my presentation. I just want to share with you a 1-minute video of LuxTripper, but before I do that, I just want to thank you all for listening. We at Lux Tripper are very proud of what we've achieved. So here's our video, Lux Tripper, where to go when and putting the fun back into holidays.
So you're sitting in the cold, rainy weather and really want to sit on the beach, sip cocktails and soak up some hot sun. You spend hours, days, even weeks researching hotels and holiday companies, trying to find the perfect escape. Well, look no further. Put the kettle on, sit back and look on to Lux Tripper. Not sure where or when you want to go? Well, our Where to Go When search engine gives you the power to choose your perfect trip based on your month, weather and holiday experience. And all in under 3 seconds, saving you hours of time searching. It's that simple. At Lux Tripper, we've been handpicking over 35,000 holidays and hotels.
I'm sorry, but the 5 minutes is up. Sorry about that. I'm sure you're all enjoying that. Thank you, Nina, for that. We've got some questions from the judges.
Can you hear me? All right, thank you. Sorry. It's technology, but not as we know it, Jim. So I would say just be careful, because if you drop the X for an S, you might get the wrong sort of customer. That was a comment I thought I'd make. But so part of the problem that you're trying to attack is you're saying that people don't have time to look for holidays. I actually attended the Yahoo presentation earlier today, and they were very clear. People love to do it. They actually really, really like to go through this pain because they lead such boring, humdrum lives that planning for travel is a continuous, they call it the virtuous circle. So I don't think you're solving a problem that people really have.
Well, the market that we are looking at, we're actually focusing on 4- and 5-star hotels and holidays around the world. The customers that we have been speaking to, they lead very busy lives. They have families, they work very long hours, have long travel journey back and forth to work. And what they've told us is they want something that will really make their life easier, so that when they are searching, that they can get the holiday or hotel results very quickly. And I do agree, people still will probably get this and look around, but it does really help consolidate all the big data out there, and really does help people, especially the ones that we're focusing on, the 4- and 5-star hotel and holiday customers who have very busy lives.
I think that there is an opportunity here. As ever, I disagree with Timothy on lots of things, but no, I think Timothy does raise a good point. It's definitely one to take into account. But my business partner was speaking in a session end of yesterday, and was talking about, I think, a very valid point, which is that lots of products, travel included, are becoming more personalised. And I think that's part of the problem that you're trying to solve. It's not saying, I'm a customer, show me everything that's out there. It's saying, this is what I want, now bring a selection to me, and then let me enjoy the planning experience. So I think that there's a lot of work to be done in that area. It's great that you guys are having a bash. There's also lots of other people who are trying and who have tried to do this, some more successfully than others. Who are your competitors, and why are you better than them?
We have a number of competitors. I think one of the, we want to focus on affordable luxury, which was one of our strategic areas as well. We've got Voyage Privé, Escapes, who do very last minute. We want to also enter that market. Destinology, they're obviously the higher end of the business, but our model is very different to them, which is why we see that we would stand out and can compete with them in a very different way, just through the way that we can provide our customers the power to search for their holiday.
Hello there. Just to agree with Timothy to a point, I think, actually agree with Timothy wholeheartedly there. I think you've got to be careful in this kind of arena where you distinguish between planning and inspiration. And I think obviously a lot of travel planning in terms of holidays is actually about being inspired for it. And when you look at something like Hipmunk, it's solving a very crucial pain, because when it comes to flights, it's very much about planning rather than inspiration. There's only so much you can be inspired to get on 3 different types of plane. So I think you've got to be careful and just know your customers exactly in terms of that. This is a big tech challenge, so where does that come from? Who are your tech team? What's their experience in this? Have they built systems like this before? Because there's a lot going on in the back end to make this work like you want.
We've partnered with Travel Tech, who have worked with a number of large organisations around the world. For us and for them, this has been a really big learning journey. We're a very innovative company, and they've been fantastic in terms of helping us and supporting us with our ideas. I have also recruited a full-time tech manager of our own. He's working with Travel Tech in terms of helping achieve our goals, because one of the things that I find when you're working with technology, when you have a vision, technology people are very techy. They look at the system, they look at the functionality. What we really want to do is not have the technology customers have to work around the technology. We want the technology to work around our customers, which is why I took the decision to employ a really experienced technology manager who'd work with them.
I was going to say, I was surprised by the Yahoo figure about people enjoying the process. I speak to a lot of people and they're increasingly not enjoying it. So I think there is a potential here to help people through the process. But what you described was probably an issue for all sectors of travel, luxury, mainstream. So why did you choose luxury in particular? Is that where you think the better margins are?
It's better margins, but it's not about the money. When we looked at the people that do DIY holidays, 66% of the people that actually book the higher end 4- and 5-star holidays tend to do the DIY search, whereas people booking 1- to 3-star tend to go for the package holidays. And that's what we found, and that's why we feel that this 4- and 5-star those are the people that really are doing the DIY holiday search.
Yes, hello Nina. I really like the where to go when sort of concept, and I just want to know, are you sort of rating the results from the customers that are using that tool to be able to optimize it even better and make more exact and appropriate results, or what are your plans for?
We at the moment, when you do the search, you get all of the results. What we're now doing, and I've actually got a meeting next week with Travel Tech, is we're looking at making that search and the results a lot more tailored and relevant to the customer. So we're adding in more functionality and more options for customers so that they can actually find the search and find the results exactly to what they're looking for. We're going to be adding in the affordable luxury kind of filters. We're going to be adding the flash sales. We're also going to be adding destination type of filters as well. That takes a lot of work around technology, but that's what our focus is next week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Nina, for that. I know it's not very easy to be grilled here. Thank you. A slight change of focus now. Somebody with the very enviable title of resort editor is going to come speak to us. It's Phil Holland from Snow Resort. Thank you, Phil.
Let me start by apologising. I've just flown back from Italy where my son got married, so no audio visual. My apologies for that. Snow Resort is a product being designed around dual tech of website and telephone apps to fill a gap we feel that we've discovered in the market. Because currently, with over 1 million skiers in the UK and worldwide over 55 million people participating in skiing, the majority of focus comes only to where to ski, how to ski, what the extent of skiing is, and nothing is done about any of the rest of the skiing experience, the holiday experience that wraps around it. We've discovered that within the UK, although there are approximately 12,000 worthwhile ski resorts in the world, the British tend to focus mainly on roughly the top 60. And we know that researchers has established that this is something that people would like to change and that they would like to try different places, and also are very cost conscious in the present economic environment. So what we've done with the website is we're building a product that has a filter search system to allow people to select and to select and carefully set their own parameters for what they want out of their skiing holiday. So if they have a non-skier in the party, they can look at some of the other factors in ski resorts when they're considering them. And this filter system extends right across the range of things, and it'll include restaurants, nightlife, non-ski activities, child activities and so forth. So it can be aimed across the range, and one of the most common questions I've had over the years is all about, if I'm a family, where's a good place to go skiing? That then extends to other planning tools that we're building into the website, which include the travel process to get to ski resorts, because it's costly with equipment, so looking at different methods of doing that, the cost of tolls, because a lot of skiers drive because of the amount of equipment they take and so forth, and then building in and around that the facility to give them information when they're in the resort, and that's where the phone apps come into play. And we're using phone apps in both the Android and the iPhone format to be able to work as a pocket holiday guide when you get to the resort. So once you've chosen where you're going, you actually pick out the resort, and you download a data pack, which means you don't have to have access to free Wi-Fi, you don't have to run expensive roaming costs when you get there. And when you download that app, at that point, the app will then prompt you when you're going to the resort, because part of the prompt is entering the date for your visit, and it will start feeding you information about where you're going and what events are on and other useful information, so it can build the experience for people when they go and travel there. And the app also has a number of other features, all built around the travel experience and trying to make it simpler for people to get the most out of what is a relatively expensive holiday, which probably fits in often at the luxury end compared to ordinary holidays. We have been working, marketing and developing this around free-to-user platform by designing ad models that are about the fact that all resorts and all businesses within resorts get to list free. But obviously then you're just in the mix of thousands of businesses and thousands of resorts. So what we've built is models to run feature listings, which mean that rather than being in the simple restaurant A to Z, you pay and you feature in the top 3 listings. I'll be honest, that's based on a model that's used in America on a much smaller scale, and having seen and spoken to the people that it works, it's something that we believe will take us away from having to have lots of banner advertising driven on the product. Our marketing initiatives have been news, magazine led and so forth so far, so we have a large subscriber base already. We've got quite a following on various social platforms, but we haven't yet run a campaign because people are looking for something to give them more information. And ultimately, I think we are going to give them that solution on both tech forms.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Thank you, Phil, for that, and well done for presenting that. We'll just pass over some questions from the judges now.
Yeah, sure.
Great, thank you. Really interesting. And my main question is where you're going to get all your content from.
A lot of the content's already been provided, sorry. A lot of the content's already been provided because we send out packs to the ski resorts, and they supply, sadly not always digitally, all of the data we want. So, for example, we had one in the other day from a Pyrenees resort that has little in the way of British users, but 130 businesses in the resort and information that we then are able, in the most part, to cut and paste onto the website. So we're not actually paying for that content.
Okay, so my question relates to how do you differ basically from a fan site to a real site? So there's so many passionate boarders and skiers out there who are building their own sites about their own resorts. There's an incredible amount of content around skiing worldwide because skiers tend to be a little bit geeky and they like to write a lot. Yeah. So how are you going to be able to differentiate yourself and rise above this massive sites. I mean, I just tried to do a little search on Google, and there was just so many of them. How are you going to differentiate yourself?
I mean, we've tested some of this because we have another a snow sport-based website, Ski Equipment Guide, which is driven by products. And even then, you find that although there's lots of choices, in reality, the majority of skiers aren't the geeky, passionate ones. They're passionate about it, but their families, their groups, and so on. And in reality, those people are looking for something that makes it easy for them to concentrate on the skiing and do all the other things they want to do. And I know that, I mean, hell, my marketing business sells markets for accountants and solicitors, so it's refreshing to be in an industry where there are geeks, believe me.
The last time we reported on the ski industry from the UK, there was a serious drop-off in new to ski travellers during the recession. How are you confident this market's big enough to sustain an entrant of this nature, and that it will eventually start growing again, and can you be part of that growth?
One, it's already turned, because a couple of recent surveys out show that there has been not a major, a 6% recovery after basically 5 years of dip in the market, and there's a general better feel when you talk within the industry that they're getting better responses from their customers. But also, the phone app has been deliberately targeted at the broader market. I mean, there are 29 million English-speaking first or fluent second language skiers out there. And to have something, you know, I come from the age of the Collins Pocket Guide that you took on holiday with you. And in a way, it's something but more interactive that does that. And so our target market isn't the million skiers in the UK. The phone app particularly is targeted worldwide.
So I like the fact that you have chosen not to have banners on the site, because as a user myself, I get really irritated by that. However, when you say that you can buy a featured package so that your hotel or your restaurant will rank by the top 3 results, excuse me, doesn't that sort of disqualify the fact that the user can find the best option for them?
As far as the resorts are concerned, that doesn't come into play, because literally that search facility is designed around choosing what fits the parameters of that resort to that customer. But with the resorts themselves, you've got an A to Z listing. So what people are basically doing is enabling themselves, when they go on a phone screen, to be one of the first 3 restaurants or bars or nightclubs or shops or whatever. And by doing that, you are drawing their attention to that. You're not actually saying any more than that. They're just out of order in terms of, you could still scroll down to the other 30 restaurants in the resort, but they're getting that first opportunity to be noticed. What?
Thanks, Phil. Now we're going to move from snow to sun. Sugar Cake is a social tourism ecosystem for the Caribbean, and we have founder Stefan James of Sugar Cake to come and present to you. Thank you.
Hi, good day everyone. I'm Stefan, and I'm the co-founder of Sugar Cake. Sugar Cake is a social travel app that helps travelers discover the culture around them, as well as create experiences through friend-source itineraries and explore with a little help from their friends. Before I go on, I'd pretty much kind of stop and explain how we got to this point. About a year ago, a few friends of mine decided to take a round trip in the Caribbean, and what we found, it was very frustrating to actually plan a trip, but also it was even harder to actually find a guide of things to do. We found that we weren't alone. What we found, and research shows, is that 47% of travelers are actually frustrated by having to search for attractions and destinations. Of that demographic, 86% rather intelligent recommendations, but also a more personalized travel guide to help them travel. Still, we have top OTAs that make it cumbersome for persons to plan trips by offering way too many options to choose from. That is further compounded by reviews that don't actually offer that local perspective that travelers need. What we've also found is that there was no service on the market that actually provided easy planning for trips, personalized recommendations from friends, but also the ability to book whenever a traveler wanted to, all from one app. What we saw was a need for a travel ecosystem that pretty much filled that gap, making it very easy to pretty much explore all that's around you, as well as allowing your friends, the persons that know you, and the persons whose opinions you trust naturally, to offer recommendations that would help you travel. Now imagine for a second, thinking and typing somewhere warm for 2 weeks under €200, and instantly being presented with beautiful, engaging, and unlimited possibilities. At this point, this is where, through Sugarcake, the Facebook social graph API kicks in, and essentially your friends get notified of your activities. Now imagine again for me, your friends being able to recommend other related fun activities to do. And these fun recommendations now forming an itinerary that you can share, save, or take up whenever you plan your whenever you decide to take up your trip. Now we didn't stop there. What Sugarcake also does is that we tap into big data from other social networks to pretty much filter preferences for destinations, events, and places, ensuring that your experience is truly personalized to what you want. By taking this unique approach, what we've ensured is not only that we allow travelers to be hassle-free when traveling, but what we've done is we've created a more connected Caribbean, and also by extension, a more connected world. Sugarcake is actually the first in the market in terms of the Caribbean to use semantic technology for discovery and inspiration. And essentially this puts us in a very key place where we are pretty much leveraging on a very much untapped market. Already we've seen 10,000 alpha users, and essentially we're looking to double that within the next few months when we launch beta. Within now to June of 2014, we plan on getting to 1 million users, and we're really hoping that you help us kind of get to that point and make that a reality. We're working with certain partners pretty much to ensure that Sugarcake is truly inspiration and discovery driven through semantic technology. And also what this does is ensure that we have certain points of interest that pretty much feed right back into really engaging content for our users. What we've also done is partnered with tourism boards, high commissions, and also other businesses within the region to pretty much ensure that our users not only come from a local level, but the diaspora as well. So in terms of the Caribbean, I'm not sure how many of you may have been there, but it's a saying, Caribbean people are everywhere. I've seen it even coming here, the amount of Caribbean people I've met. What this really much shows, and this puts Sugarcake in a position where we're able to now leverage on Caribbean people being all over the globe, so that locals and diaspora pretty much become brand ambassadors for the Caribbean experience. So the next time you're planning a trip, why not discover the culture, create your experience, and explore your possibilities with Sugarcake. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry for the questions, mate.
Hello. To ask the question again, who's the team behind this and who's providing the technology?
Okay, so we've partnered pretty much with technology providers out of Italy to provide that semantic technology. That feeds content as well to Sugarcake. I am, apart from the CEO and co-founder, I am tech as well. And our tech team pretty much works out of San Diego, Denmark as well, and they have offices in Amsterdam, as well as I have my co-founder as well and other persons in the team that fill that gap as well too.
Good to hear it.
So I guess my question is, you talk about how things will actually interact. How are you going to persuade people to come onto your site? How will you engage the users? How will you actually get them to interact with you?
Okay, so essentially, apart from the traditional means of customer acquisition, through social networking and marketing, the partnerships that we have with tourism boards especially and high commissions ensure that we have a certain amount of users that are pretty much pushed to Sugarcake, because pretty much what we do is we promote Caribbean culture to the world. So having the high commissions on board, having the tourism boards on board, they pretty much bring those users to us. So that's one of our main forms of customer acquisition, apart from the traditional means of getting customers.
So it sounds like the semantic side of things is about you answering people's questions better. I mean, that's essentially what it's all about. And obviously,
yes.
there's a company called Google out there that's also trying to do that more and more. How are you going to make sure you're always going to be better at answering the questions than the giant in the room?
You mean in terms of semantics?
Yeah, but just
okay,
making
well,
sure.
we know pretty much in the world of travel, semantics is the next best thing, is the next big thing. Based on the technology, our tech team as well, we're constantly working on improving the technology and making sure that it's fully contextual, so that it feeds right back into points of interest, so that when you search, you always make sure that you have data coming back that really is personalized and what you want. Right, so it's a constant process in terms of improving it, but I think it's pretty much at a point right now where I think it's kind of unparalleled in terms of other startups within the Caribbean, but even on a global scale.
So my question is really about, we saw in the pre-presentation that we got access to before that you have a rather big team, and it's not clear to me how you will make money, because obviously the Caribbean is a really nice destination, a niche destination, but it's not everyone that can afford to go to the Caribbean.
Right.
So
okay, so in terms of me being profitable, or
yes, yes.
So you're right, the Caribbean is a niche market. Essentially, we're starting with the Caribbean. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, so it makes sense. But as well, my business partners are from the UK, some from France as well, and we have a team in the Caribbean as well too. In terms of persons coming to the Caribbean, tourism in the Caribbean is booming more and more every year. But in terms of profitability, in terms of booking, from a booking standpoint, commissions from booking, that's one way that we plan on making money, as well as the destinations, the businesses that are listed on Sugarcake that travelers now are able to interact with. We kind of have a freemium model for them where at the initial stage, once they come on board, it's free. But essentially, they could now pay to be featured or even push deals and specials through their restaurants, destinations that may have certain deals as well. Those will be paid as well. Apart from that, there's affiliate marketing as well too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that, Stefan. Last but not least, we have a crowdsourced inspiration engine called Suggester, and we have founder Andy Owen-Jones to explain it to you. Thank you.
We started trying to answer three questions. Firstly, leisure travel is one of my biggest expenditures in my life. Am I getting the most out of it? Second thing, how can we get people away from thinking just about the next deal? So people think, I've got a holiday coming, can I find the cheapest deal? Is that the most effective way to plan your travel spend? And thirdly, can we do something which, if we have more and more users, it gets better rather than more cumbersome, complex, and worse? So we created a thing called Suggester. It's not yet quirky enough for us. The jester part is not yet fully in there, but that will develop as the character comes through over time. We were inspired by four things. We looked at all the performance of a whole series of different travel agents that we knew. And the number one travel agent that we found did one thing differently from everyone else. At the start of the year, she sent out a magic wand to people and said, come in and plan your next 3 years' travel. And so she would get people in and they would proactively plan not just one offer, but they would plan 2 or 3 years ahead. And if you can start to get people onto a different rhythm of planning, you move away from being so price sensitive and price driven and start to get people to think, are they making an investment in travel that's worthwhile? The second thing is we'll have a clock ticking. I've got 3 kids, I've probably got 3 family holidays left. Am I going to go to Torremolinos each time, or am I going to take them to Angkor Wat and various places? That requires planning. The third thing, sometimes people want help. We saw when we got customers together in a travel agency that they would start talking to each other and pull the travel agent in and say, look, this is Bill, he organized this trip to Vietnam, please talk to him, he's brilliant. And the last thing, moments make a holiday. We don't think that you can capture a holiday unless you understand what a moment is. And this is something that we're really trying to push in this new model. A moment for us is something with a couple of 100 characters, a photograph, and a geography. And it's something inspiring about travel. This particular one, we went to the Eiffel Tower, 2.5-hour queues. My wife noticed that if you got a tour operator group of 20 people, you could go straight up and that queue was empty. She went along the thing, got 5 other families. We all went up to Eiffel Tower in about 3 minutes. The moment of going up in that lift was extraordinary. We don't remember where we stayed, but we will remember that moment. That doesn't work for every kind of person. You need to be a particular type of character. So if our friends recommended that, they may not do it. But if you could find someone with the same kind of character to recommend that to you, then there's probably a fraction of people in this room who would love to have that same kind of experience. What do we want? We want to have the world's biggest collection of curated and non-curated moments. We want to have thousands and thousands of moments. We want to have an understanding of people's demography, people's preferences, and out of that to build their future itineraries. Not for their next offer, but so that they're planning forward, knowing, for me, I know I've got 6 or 7 Olympics or 6 or 7 World Cups that I can go to in the future. Am I going to make the effort to go after one of them, or am I going to wait and spend my money on going to Spain every year or something like that? What does it look like? This is what it looks like. Who are we? We're a team of experienced travel professionals. Most of the team are in New Zealand, the leaders of the House of Travel Company, which is the biggest private-owned travel company there. This is a joint venture I've set up with them, and our first company that we're launching is called Suggesta. What we do, we gather moments from loads and loads of people. We work out what they want, we work out their demographics, and we try and present moments from people who are similar to them. Technology is pretty straightforward with a lot of big analytics data behind it from another company that I'm involved with called Big Data for Travel. We are aiming to get about 10,000 travel moments and about 10,000 customer profiles in the shortest possible time, and behind that then we will start to analyze who puts what moment to what. Thank you.
We just have some brief questions for Andy, please.
Great stuff. It's really, really exciting. I think this is something we seem to be seeing a lot of startups innovating around at the moment. There was, I think, an app launched yesterday called Hitlist. They're doing a not dissimilar thing. They're looking at, don't just think about your next trip, think about your next 10 trips. For them, the core pain that they want to solve is, we'll tell you when one of those trips becomes cheap enough and in your budget. What's the core pain that you're solving for me as your user?
The core pain, in a way, is why am I only focusing on my next trip? Why, I completely agree that the research shows that people are actually happier when they're planning travel if it's not the actual booking part. We think people should be planning travel all the time. My core pain is, am I responding to offers or am I making an investment in travel? In terms of the travel agency side of things, we're actually offering a travel agency login to this too, so that people can put in an itinerary. When we know that in 2015 there's a group of people who want to go to Australia, we will present back itineraries to them if they want it.
At the moment, one of, for the last 2 years, Foursquare, their biggest cost has been on data analysts. That's all they've spent money on. And they're now getting to the point where they're doing a lot of this. Similar stuff with their tips and the like, but being able to predict and provide predictions on what you'll like and won't like and where you'll be. They haven't quite cracked it yet. They've had 5 years at it. What puts you in a different position where you're going to take this market on?
I think our focus is slightly different. Our focus is on creating a collated set of moments which are manageable. We will have all those in our system. I think our biggest challenge in that is trying to create moments as a standardized event. And it's not a tweet, it's too long for a tweet, it's got other things associated. Once we've got that in that kind of format, we have some very good technologies behind the scenes. I'm a shareholder in a couple of big data companies, and we have access to power stream technology, for example, rather than map reduced type stuff at the back, which was recently voted the world's hottest big data startup. And we've got the exclusive, or I've got the exclusive agreement to work with them in leisure travel in Europe. So there's some stuff that we've got which I think takes us ahead. The key on it is, have we got good data scientists? And we think we have. But we'll be in competition.
Hello, Andy.
Hi.
Apart from it being slightly depressing, working out how many holidays you've got left in your life, I think it's a really good idea to start with the experience first. It seems to be what travel agents miss all the time. But my question is, I don't know a great deal about the commercial side of it, where you're going to make your money. So what's the model there?
We've got 3 ways that we're looking to make money. One is partnering with travel agencies and GDSs, and having that sponsored. So in order to provide the itineraries in 2 to 3 years' time, we will work with travel agencies in different geographies. So for example, House of Travel in New Zealand is not in competition with someone in the USA. So we will give different franchises out there. The second is every 10 moments or so, we will slip in a sponsored moment. So they have to be a certain quality, and they have to be moments which are things that can create the upside for people rather than selling a hotel. And the third thing that we will do is we'll be able to forecast demand in some way. So we intend to sell data in aggregate rather than for individuals.
So I really like this concept. Job well done. To me, it looks very much like a social media phenomena. And my only concern is that as soon as you add sort of commercial incentives, you expose the network for a risk that people will not sort of use it just for the fact that you can actually buy yourself in. Is that something that you have talked about?
Yes, and we want to be very, very careful about how we pitch sponsored moments. It's our experience that an appropriate sale is something that's valued by people. An inappropriate sale isn't. So we have, for example, at the moment in the app, we have a question comes up every 7 or so moments that you click. And having tried it for a while, that's too many questions coming up. Those are profiling questions. Anything from, are you on the beach or are you off the beaten track? Or the house is on fire, do you save the cat or do you save the photos? So that we try and build up really bizarre profiles of people so that we can do the best possible pattern matching down the road. And they're kind of quirky, gamified things. Those, I think, work. If you put in things that are inappropriate and are clear commercial-driven stuff that is not appropriate to the profile, people won't like it. My experience is if people know I've got a holiday coming up somewhere and I don't know everything about that place, but someone can offer me a tour to an outstanding place, which is exactly what I'm after, then I think it can be appropriate. But we'll have to measure that. It's down to measurements. Thank you.
Thank you. Just want to say thank you to everybody who's pitched. The Escape List, Lux Tripper, Snow Resort, Sugar Cake and Suggester. Good luck to all of you. I'm just going to ask the judges to retire to our very luxurious green room over here. While you're waiting for us, we're literally going to be gone 5 minutes to deliberate over this. I'm going to ask Chris Whitfield from another startup, Antulia, to talk to you about his startup. So just to give him a showcase to keep you entertained. We'll also be doing an audience vote while we're away, just so you can have your say on which one you think was best. So, Chris. So if you just move forward that way.
Hello. Hi, we're Antulia. We're an early stage travel startup from Montego Bay, Jamaica, and we're here to show you our prototype. So from the ground up, Antulia was designed to answer these sorts of questions. When you have a general idea of where you want to go, when you have special interests, when you have an idea of the time of year, and so basically, what we've done is we built a natural language interface that will answer the questions for these open-ended searches. And what Antulia is doing is Antulia is bringing back information for hotels based on the purpose of trip that you search. So in this case, we searched for a romantic weekend, and the information that's being presented on a hotel perspective is from a romantic weekend perspective. And all the content from that hotel is being served by exactly what they look for. So in this case, they look for a one-bedroom suite. They look for nearby golf courses that they might want to play at. They look for snorkeling at this hotel. And they also look for nearby waterfalls. So we're showing exactly what they wanted from a romantic point of view. We've even built in hotspots within images to give the traveler a more immersive idea of what they can expect at the hotel. Moving forward, this is an example of a video hotspot where we think can be excellent for contextual video advertising on the hotel level, and we think that's something that can be quite exciting, again, from a purpose of trip perspective. We're adding rooms to the itinerary, and what Antulia is actually doing is it's actually taking Rome to Rio data, and it's pulling in what a flight from London to Montego Bay is, and basically giving the traveler a purpose, basically giving the traveler an idea of what the total cost of trip is. Let's try another search. So I want to go to Central America in October for a romantic weekend, and I really want to go to whale watching spots. So basically, what Antulia is going to do is it's going to check, okay, well, where are the whales in Central America during October? And then it's going to say, show me all the hotels that are nearby these spots for whale watching. And then what we find is that here's the hotels that's being presented. In this case, we clicked on a hotel in Costa Rica. The flight data updated with a flight from Heathrow to San Juan. And then we saw the one-bedroom suite we searched for, as well as the nearby whale-watching spots that we wanted. And we give them an idea of what to expect in October when they go on their whale-watching vacation. This is extremely relevant visual search. And what we're doing is that we're basically making connections between hotels and the things around it. So a hotel and a waterfall, a hotel and a whale-watching spot, and a time of year, and the migration of whales up the coast of Central America. From a business point of view, we're starting small. We're starting in Jamaica, and we hope to be able to structure data around the Caribbean in order to answer these types of open-ended searches. And our goal is eventually to be able to cover the world. We'll make money through hotel commissions as well as in-destination tour and activity commissions. And that's the relationships that we're building at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Antulia. Very interesting, tying a holiday in with a waterfall or a whale watching trip. But it does show you how much data is out there and information is out there. If you can tie it in with a hotel, you've got an idea. That's what sparks off that idea for a new site in the first place. As Mark said, there's 5 people out there in the back being champagned and lobstered and caviared while they're waiting to come up back through the curtain to present a check to one of the 5 startups today. So purely as a means of filling a bit of time and also getting your input on the 6 you've heard today, I would like to just do a show of hands because it will be your vote. You won't have any bearing whatsoever on the result that's going to be decided in there. But there's lots of different ideas. Now, I'd just like to get a reminder of each of these 6 and to have a show of hands. The first one was Jamie. You remember was the Escape List, UK's first and only affordable luxury hotel website. All rooms must be under £150 a night. Image-focused, design-constructive, easy-to-search website. If you can cast your mind back to that, who would say that was the winner for you today? Now we have a hand over here. We have a hand. We have 3 hands over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep them up at the moment. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23 at a rough count. Is that 3 extras? 26. 26, cap that figure. Donald, 27. Thank you. Do I hear any advance on 27? That's it. Okay, right. The second one we had up today was, and I hope you remember all these, Lux Tripper. Nina, we had to cut her off halfway through a video. Sorry about that, but it's brutal. It's 5 minutes only, otherwise we'll be here all afternoon. She was very good, very persuasive. I'm particularly impressed by her talk, actually. Team of travel editors, handpicked more than 35,000. Handpicked 35,000? Good heavens. Hotels 4 and 5 stars around the world. Lux Tripper UK. All you need to do is enter your month, weather, holiday experience under 3 seconds. You'll have results thrown at you. Anybody impressed by this lady? Even though we cut a video off, and I don't want sympathy votes, I want genuine votes for her product. We got what? James Craven over there from the States voting. Number 1, 2, 2, 3, 4 we have here, 5, 6, 7. Any more out? 7? Coming in at a close second at this stage. Now, skiing, Phil Holland, very interesting, and quite a different type, perhaps, of presentation you had this morning from the others. Snow Resort, changing the face of online ski guides with detailed yet easy-to-use website and app pages for more than 1,000 worldwide resorts. Still lots of big figures in these presentations. 35,000 hotels, 1,000 ski resorts. It's big numbers, but if they can tie it in, the trick is making something special out of the data. Each online resort guide brings users up-to-date information about restaurants, hire shops, childcare, and much more. Now that's quite interesting. It's not just the depth of snow and the weather. It's more information you will need in ski resorts, and that's what people want, live, detailed information brought to you on your phone or on a website. Who is impressed? Who's going to start me off with the snow guide? We have a couple over there, arms around each other, clearly related to the son, father, mother of. Just the 2, surely? 3, we have 3 in the front here. Do I hear any more on the right-hand side? 4, we have 4. Come on, this is your last chance to vote for the Snow Boys. Are you just doing your lips, or are you about to raise your hand? Just doing the lips. 4 there. I think we might have got most of you hooked on the first one. Stephen James was next from Sugar Cake. Caribbean presentation, very slick, very effective. Also interesting to see destination-based ideas as opposed to we cover the world, which I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of backyard blogging. You should write from your own doorstep about what you know about. And I think if you're going to start in your own home backyard, that's a very good place to start. Now, what do we say about Sugar Cake? Special social tourism ecosystem for the Caribbean that helps users discover the culture around them, create their ideal experiences, and explore the possibilities with the help of recommendations from their friends. I saw one vote for him from Barbara, the Geordie girl, saying, Sugar Cake. But I don't think that was a vote about his product. That was more about him. Anybody else, apart from Barbara, would like to vote for the Caribbean man? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A few hands here. Now 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 from the WTM lady. It's very nice of her. Second place then on your vote for Sugar Cake. And 2 more, Sir Jester, Andy Owen-Jones, very slick presentation. Like the idea of planning 6 Olympics and 7 World Cups. I've never been to one. Well, actually, I went to London Olympics. The idea of going to 7 World Cups appeals to me. Would I give away Spain for the rest of my life? Not too sure, but a nice, fresh idea. Not one that I've heard before either. So who else was impressed by Sir Jester? Ooh, this is going to be interesting. 1, 2, 3, keep those hands up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 on the left, 18, 19, 22, 6, 28, 33, 34, 35. Have I seen your hand before? We're getting double voting here. It's not going to be a rigged election, is it? 37, 38 from Sabine. Well, that's interesting. 38 there, that's the winner so far. And a last shout for Antulia. Top man did a good job there. I like to see this launched out of Jamaica and it's going to spread further, but still backyard blogging. Get it in local first, expand from there. And our last vote of the day for Antulia, and who do we have? Donald, you voted before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up there. And a few more at the back. I think on the people's vote, and nothing to do whatsoever with the official judging, which would be interesting to match, I make it number 1 was the escape list. Number 2 was Suggester. Thank you for that, for your participation. Now for the real results, I shall hand you back over to Mark. Thank you very much for your help.
Thanks, I don't need it. Just give it to you guys there. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with us. I just wanted to say, you know, we've obviously seen all of these pitches before today, so there's a lot of work gone into this, and thank you to the judges for sharing their experience on that. We have come up with a winner. I just wanted to just say one or two things about you know, how the judges felt about each of the pitches. Escape List, everyone was impressed by the very comprehensive pitch that Jamie did. Lux Tripper, the where to go when search engine, that really hit the spot with them. For Snow Resort, there's a great opportunity there. You know, I'm a former ski editor of the Times, and I can see the opportunity for that and for the opportunity for destination information. Stefan and Sugar Cake, semantic search, I mean, you know, it's a great area to be in, and if they can crack that, it's going to go really well. And, you know, I think you know, a lot of people have said to me about Suggester as well. We were just chatting down the room in the front row there with Steve as well. You know, this whole idea of you know, getting people to sign up for the next 3 years, I think it's a great idea, and no one's thought of doing it. But it's a great idea. So thank you to everybody who's invested their time in doing the pitches. I just want to, before I announce who has won, Paul just wants to say what a perfect elevator pitch actually should be.
Not that I pitch on a regular basis, but I work with startups as my day job, and we see a lot of pitches, and we're working with 10 teams in the moment on what a pitch should look like. And a pitch is an opportunity to start a conversation. You don't have to cram everything in there, you just want to get people's interest so you can have the conversation afterwards. But it's really fundamental what a pitch looks like. It's what's the pain, how are you solving it, what's the opportunity, what's your customer acquisition strategy, who are the team who are delivering this, and what do you want out of this? So 2 things on that. With pretty much everyone, apart from maybe the last startup up here, I've no idea who you are and why you're the people to solve this problem. And when it comes to investors, they don't care about the idea as much as they care about the team. Because it's just an idea until you've got a good team that solves it. So if you do this again, and anyone else in the room, who are you? And why are you important? Second thing is the ask. You've got an opportunity in front of a room, potentially with investors in here, but partners as well. If you're going to take the stage, then ask for something. If it's an investor demo day, then you ask for money. But do you need partners? Do you need staff? Something like that. You've got a chance, so ask. And the third thing is, just very briefly, is that for technology startups, it's really nice to know about the tech, or at least that you're capable of doing this, or you've got the contracts in place to do it, or your delivery providers can do it as well. It's technology, so you know, it's just an idea without it. So tell us something about that too.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Paul. If I could just ask Joachim to come and join me. You know, with Sabre providing the money for this fantastic prize, we're also going to be offering some mentoring to the winning startup as well. I'm not going to do a Britain's Got Talent type delay here, but I'm very delighted to announce that we've gone along with the audience, and it's the Escape List. So if I could ask Jamie Rose to come and join me on stage, please. And thank you once again to everybody else. I know it's a very stressful experience being up here on the stage and being grilled by the likes of our judging panel. So thank you again. And hopefully some of you startups out there who've learned something from the last session as well will be joining us again next year for WTM Fresh. We'll be putting up all of the startup information